Juggernaut, stepbrother to Charles Xavier. After bonding with the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak, Cain was transformed into the avatar of Cyttorak himself, gaining near limitless strength and durability. Once he starts moving, forget about stopping him. Versus Darkseid, feared as one of the Justice League's worst adversaries, the eternal enemy of New Genesis, and quite possibly the single greatest threat in all of DC. His goal? Simple, yet terrifying. To bend existence itself to his will, to reshape the cosmos in his own image. I'm the Shinin, and I'm here to analyze their powers, their durability, and their sheer versatility, to uncover who would win in a one-on-one fight. Juggernaut's real name is Cain Marko. He was raised by his father, Kurt Marko, after his mother passed away when Cain was very young. Eventually, Kurt met and married Sharon Xavier, the widow of Brian Xavier and mother of Charles Xavier. After their marriage, the family moved into the Xavier Mansion in Westchester, New York, a place that would later become the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. However, Cain's relationship with his new stepbrother, Charles, was fraught from the beginning. Cain was a bully, and much of his behavior was fueled by jealousy. Charles excelled at everything: academics, sports, and even being a star athlete in football and track. Their father, Kurt, clearly favored Charles over Cain. What Cain didn't realize was that Charles's extraordinary success was partly due to his mutant ability to read minds, Cain's included. When Cain eventually discovered that Charles was a mutant, resentment began to fester deeply. The tension reached a breaking point when Cain accidentally started a fire during an argument in Kurt's lab. The fire spiraled out of control, and Kurt tragically died from smoke inhalation, while saving both Cain and Charles. Overwhelmed by guilt and anger, Cain convinced himself that Kurt's sacrifice wasn't for him. It was for Charles. This belief hardened his animosity toward his stepbrother. Years later, both Cain and Charles were drafted into the U.S. Army and served together during the Korean War. On one mission, Cain deserted his unit. Charles, ever the altruist, went after him, hoping to bring him back. While trying to escape, Cain stumbled upon a cave, the lost temple of Cyttorak. Inside, he found the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. The moment he touched it, an inscription appeared reading, "Whosoever touches this gem shall be granted the power of the crimson bands of Cyttorak. Henceforth, you who read these words shall become forevermore a human juggernaut." In that instant, Cain was mystically transformed into Cyttorak's avatar, a living juggernaut. But the power came at a cost. The unleashed mystical energies caused the cave to collapse. Charles barely escaped the falling rubble, but Cain was buried alive. The Juggernaut, one of the strongest and most powerful physical beings in the Marvel Universe. He stands toe-to-toe with legends like Thor, and even surpasses the Hulk in sheer might. Cain Marko's power? It flows from the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak, a conduit through which Cyttorak channels his boundless, magical energy into his chosen avatar. Much like Jean Grey, who wields only a fraction of the Phoenix Force yet retains incredible power, Cain Marko commands but a portion of Cyttorak's strength. Yet even that fraction is immeasurable. His feats? Juggernaut has knocked out Cyttorak in his own realm, a realm where Cyttorak stands above Galactus and the Celestials themselves. He has felled cosmic entities such as the Stranger, toppling the towering figure, grown to 50 feet tall, with just one punch. And on Earth, he has subdued or outright defeated some of the mightiest heroes and villains: the Thing, Colossus, Hulk, Thor, Venom, Captain Britain, Prime, and more. Cain Marko was designed to be unstoppable. He cannot be defeated by physical force. The limits of his strength remain unknown because it stems directly from Cyttorak's infinite essence. When possessed by the Trion's Darkseid, and drawing further upon Cyttorak's power, the Juggernaut tore down multiple dimensional barriers with sheer physical might. He crushed them, one by one, in a rampage to destroy the Trion gods. He ripped through the fabric of space and time, merging dimensions as his punches shattered the continuum itself. raw power. He dug into the Earth's bedrock with ease, enduring unimaginable compressive forces, hundreds of thousands of cubic meters of rock, clay, and stone weighing down on his body. Cain Marko once fractured the North American tectonic plate itself, and with nothing but his bare fists. Hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of billions of metric tons of force. Speed? Despite his enormous size, Juggernaut's leg strength propels him at superhuman speeds. He can run at 600 miles per hour, nearly reaching the speed of sound, and perhaps faster. Invulnerability. Juggernaut is protected by an invisible force field, rendering him immune to all physical attacks regardless of their intensity. Fire, cold, electricity, radiation. Even Thor's God-Force blast or Wolverine's adamantium claws cannot harm him. Reality-warping forces like molecular disintegration? Even those fail to destroy him. Healing. The only way to harm Juggernaut is through mystical or cosmic-level attacks. But even then, the gem regenerates him. Instantly, he has been reduced to a skeleton by despair, elevated to reality-warping power, and yet, within seconds he was whole again. As long as a single molecule of Cain Marko remains, he cannot die. Unstoppable, invincible, eternal. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps out the channel. Thanks for your support. Darkseid's story begins with the origins of the new gods. There was once an era ruled by the old gods. However, that age came to a violent and catastrophic end. The brave fell alongside the cunning, and the noble perished in battle against unleashed evil. Their final moments were marked by an explosion of indescribable power that tore apart their homeworld. The resulting destruction split the planet into two massive, barren halves, leaving behind only silence, cosmic thunder, and the deep void of space. But from that darkness came new light, and out of that light, the new gods were born. Like any civilization, whether alien or human, the new gods were divided between good and evil. The two halves of the shattered old gods' world each evolved into their own distinct planets, one embodying peace and prosperity, the other chaos and oppression. Now our focus is on Darkseid, the ruler of the nightmarish world of Apokolips. As his greatest rival, Orion, once said, "All that New Genesis stands for is reversed on Apokolips." But before Darkseid ruled with an iron fist, before he even became Darkseid, he was known as Prince Uxas. Uxas was second in line to the throne of Apokolips, a position that didn't sit well with him. He wanted absolute power. However, he didn't need to overthrow his father, King Yuga Khan, as the king had already been trapped in the Source Wall while attempting to unlock the secrets of the Source itself. That left only one obstacle in Uxas' way, his older brother Drax. Drax sought to master the Omega Effect, a cosmic power of immense destruction, by harnessing it from the Infinity Pit. But before he could claim it, Uxas betrayed and murdered him, seizing the Omega Effect for himself. In that moment, his body was transformed, his flesh turned to stone, and he took on a new name, Darkseid. And that is how the Tyrant of Apokolips was born. Darkseid isn't just powerful, he's a force of nature. As a new god, his physiology grants him unfathomable strength, speed, agility, and even immortality. He's over 245,000 years old, and in that time, he has pushed the limits of the Omega Effect to terrifying extremes. His abilities break every law of nature. He can teleport across time and space, fly at mind-shattering speeds, warp reality itself, and grow to cosmic proportions, something he does effortlessly. The scale between the Prime Universe and Darkseid's true domain, the fourth world, is beyond comprehension. He moves between dimensions using boom tubes, which automatically adjust his size. Otherwise, he'd struggle to fit in, considering the normal stature of a new god is as massive as a star. But sheer power isn't the only thing that makes Darkseid a nightmare. As a necromancer, He can possess both the living and the dead, bending them to his will like puppets. Even lifeless objects are not beyond his command. And then there are the Omega beams, his ultimate weapon. These searing blasts of pure destruction defy physics, changing direction mid-flight, tracking their targets with ruthless precision. A single shot can disintegrate, transmute, or erase someone from existence entirely. His speed? Unfathomable. The edge of the observable universe is 45 billion light-years away. An impossible distance. It took the legendary Helm of Nabu a year to make that journey. Darkseid? He crossed it in 5 seconds, moving at over 87 duodecillion times the speed of light. He's so fast that he can choke Superman out before the Man of Steel even registers his presence. With a single slap, he can knock him unconscious. His strength is just as horrifying. He can crush a lantern ring as if it were glass, obliterate planets with a thought, and wipe out the Justice League in one devastating strike. Yet even with all this godlike might, Darkseid was never satisfied. He craved the ultimate weapon, the anti-life equation. The anti-life isn't just an equation, it's a fundamental truth of existence, a shattered fragment of the source itself. With it, Darkseid can prove, beyond doubt, that free will is an illusion and that hope is meaningless. But the Darkseid you think you know? He isn't even real. He is more than a god. He is the living embodiment of tyranny itself. His true form exists beyond reality, in the higher plane of the fourth world, sending avatars of his consciousness to interact with the multiverse. Each avatar is weaker than his true self, but that's by necessity. If Darkseid's full, undiluted presence entered another universe, it would unravel existence itself. The All right, we're diving into a battle between the unstoppable force Juggernaut versus the god of tyranny himself, Darkseid. Now, I'm going to analyze their powers, their durability, and their versatility to uncover who would win in a one-on-one fight. 1. Powers. Juggernaut is a walking apocalypse. Fueled by the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak, his strength isn't just superhuman, it's immeasurable. He's cracked tectonic plates, knocked out cosmic entities, and torn through dimensional barriers with his bare fists. And remember, this is only a fraction of Cyttorak's infinite power. His strength scales to infinity because it literally channels from an endless source. But Darkseid, this guy's strength plays on a whole other scale. He can crush Green Lantern rings like toys, knock Superman unconscious with a single blow, and even grow to cosmic proportions. His avatars can collapse worlds, while his true form is beyond reality itself. When Darkseid flexes, he's flexing at a multiversal scale. Edge, Darkseid. Juggernaut's raw muscle is insane, but Darkseid's power is fueled by the source itself. His ceiling is higher. 2. Durability. Juggernaut is designed to be unstoppable. He shrugs off Thor's God Blast, Wolverine's claws, and even molecular disintegration. Reduced to a skeleton, he regenerates instantly. As long as a single molecule of Cain Marko remains, Juggernaut cannot die. Darkseid, though, is no glass cannon. His avatars withstand planetary destruction and god-tier assaults from Superman, Wonder Woman, and entire Justice League rosters. His true essence? It's untouchable, existing outside the multiverse itself. Edge, Juggernaut. While Darkseid is cosmic tier durable, Juggernaut's regeneration and Cyttorak's infinite essence make him virtually unkillable in a straight-up fight. Lastly, versatility. Juggernaut is a blunt instrument. Fists, durability, unstoppable momentum. Effective but simple. Darkseid? He's a Swiss Army knife of universal domination. Teleportation, telepathy, necromancy, size manipulation, and of course the Omega effect. His beams don't just burn, they erase, transmute, or resurrect at his will. And if that wasn't enough, he wields the anti-life equation, letting him control the minds and souls of all living beings. Edge, Darkseid. Juggernaut is one-dimensional. Darkseid is infinite dimensional. The winner? Darkseid.